Alright, what's going on everybody and welcome back. It's the second semi-finals of GSL. Yesterday we saw an epic match between Hero and Rogue. Today, the Terran side of the bracket, MARU in the top right, in the blue, the greatest Terran player of all time. And, in the view of some people, the greatest player in the world of all time. Of course, those are people who believe that Terran is inherently harder than the other factions, but I don't think they're too far off, as he is definitely up there in the top 5 players, I think, in just about everybody's book, even the biggest MARU haters in the world. Now, his opponent in the bottom left side of the map, a actually very difficult opponent in TVT, a player who I feel like years ago, MARU had Cua's number. This is, of course, Team Liquid's Cua, by the way. I should probably introduce him before I start talking about them. But, yeah, there were periods where MARU would just always make comebacks against Cua. The number of games I've seen Cua ahead against MARU, and then MARU would just pull out the most ridiculous win condition from miles behind. I mean, it was kind of... I remember multiple times, around probably 2020, 2021, just seeing Cua look so frustrated in this particular matchup. Because he was the best Terran in the world, outside of MARU for some periods. A lot of people have given, Cua best TVP player in the world. I think he would have been best TVT player in the world for long periods of time if it wasn't for MARU. And in fact, Cua is one of the big reasons, I believe, that Clem swapped to Protoss, because Clem had a very bad win rate against Cua in TVT, really struggled with him, and as a result, did swap to Protoss to try and ease that pressure off of himself. Command center on the high ground here for both sides. It is an identical gas-first opening. Now, with this opening, you can go for a much faster factory than you otherwise would. You can see here, SCV's already at the front. Factory goes down at 1:52 for both players. Now, if you want to be super greedy, since neither of you scouting, it's very awkward to SCV scout, because you're already a little short on minerals with the gas first. So it becomes very costly, but going reactor right after. Both sides go reactor right after. And they're both checking for proxy barracks outside their base. Cua goes up and then immediately turns around, runs away, and then blocks that jumping point with a depot. MARU, a bit braver. He's going to venture around the map. Now, of course, we might be mentioning a little bit about the future matchup. If you haven't already gone and watched that Hero Rogue match, please go ahead and watch it, because I think we will be talking a bit about the winner of this playing, of course, the winner of that match, and don't want to spoil you all, but if you care about spoilers, please go check that match out first, and we will be uploading the finals, winner of this versus the winner of Hero Rogue, tomorrow night. Try and get that all in order for everybody so that you can have some nice sequential viewing. Always try to do that when I can for a tournament. Try and make sure people who are watching StarCraft and following exclusively here through my channel are able to get to it without getting too spoiled. Occasionally I slip up on that, but try to make it a pretty smooth experience for you all. Interesting building placement for Cua. This is kind of like almost like he's afraid of Blinkstalkers getting in here and wants a bit of a wall off. Now, he's of course committing to a couple of Hellions, as is MARU. It's a completely mirrored build order. Now, don't let that bore you. Often people go, oh wow, they're building the same units. That's not interesting. Well, you know what is interesting? One bad fight can end the game. It becomes so dangerous. When you both build identical unit sets, the game can end very suddenly. One mistake could upset everything. Raven building for both sides also. Command center floating down for Cua and MARU at almost exactly the same time. This feels like we got 2 bots playing, isn't it, guys? Well, Cua does start the double SCV production earlier. MARU has missed an entire worker in his main base, and that's going to give a slight worker lead to Cua here in a moment, as you can see. I like the use of the site blocker here. If you run forward as Cua, you may take a bad fight. So MARU is going to go 8 Hellions. On the other side, Cua has swapped off after 6. And I think that means MARU probably commits to an attack with these 2 Hellions. Or at least pokes around and looks for one. But if Cua can get the Cyclone out in time, a Cyclone is worth... I'd say probably 3 Hellions in a battle like this. It's worth a lot. And obviously, anytime you're skirmishing with the opponent, it will get a lot of pickoffs. MARU is going to look for a bit of harassment with the Raven going around the left side. And a 3rd gas goes down for MARU much later than Cua. Cua's already mined 40 gas off his. And here we go. Big attack coming in. MARU commits 100%. He goes to the auto turret. Cua throws his auto turrets as well. They tank very well. The auto turret up north goes down, and that is a clean defense. Of course, MARU did only use 1 auto turret, and a lot of his Hellions survive. He also only lost a Reaper for a Hellion, which, yeah, it's equal cost, but often the Hellion is the more valuable unit since it has more hit points later on. Neither of them is going to be doing a significant amount of damage once you hit mid-game. the Hellions have 90 hit points and the Reapers only have 60. So even though the Reaper costs a bunch of gas early on, it's usually considered the more expendable unit. Barracks going down, a commitment to bio here for Cure. We don't see too much mech these days. I do wonder if the Cyclone had its old mag field. Do you guys remember when the Cyclone used to go 400 damage to 800, but only versus armored with mag field? Much better at sniping tanks, medevacs, I think a Raven's armored? I actually have no idea if a Raven's armored. They're not, right? Because Phoenix do bonus damage, so they are light. They're definitely light. You can't be light and armored. That would be a little contradictory. Then again, if you go in the editor, you probably can just slap all those tags on one unit, but of course, wouldn't make a lot of sense thematically, would it? Oh, here we go. Maru's looking for an angle. Cure senses it. Groups up his units, and he's fine. Maru's looking to force mistakes, but Cure's just been solid as a rock so far, not making any of these big mistakes. His auto turret defense is down much faster than Maru's. Maru's auto turrets were late there, and Cure gets the Raven out of the Cyclone lock-on range just in time, but Maru has a siege tank, and that's a real problem. He's pulling SCVs right now, ready to engage. If Maru presses this, he will be ready to fight. The siege tank just popped out for Cure, but it's taking a while to get to the low ground, that weird wall off that he built, meaning the siege tank is taking some time, and Maru does pick off a Raven. Very nice use of his Cyclone. The siege tank, though, gets siege, takes out the enemy Cyclone. Auto turrets do go down for Cure. Cure needs to hold. He's pulling a few SCVs forward. He knows if he loses this position, he's done for in this game. SCV's accidentally repairing his own depot rather than pulling onto the enemy siege tank. A couple of misclicks there for Cure do cost him, and he loses 5 workers, but not just the 5 workers. More importantly, it's the control of this area with a Viking up front sniping the Raven. Maru still has a Raven alive. Cure has lost all of his. NG base finished, but obviously not the priority to build upgrades right now. The SCVs are going to pull. Cure cannot let this siege get more entrenched. He's got to break it now. Looks like a good break, honestly. 9 SCVs going down is costly, but it's much better than letting Maru get another siege tank sieged here and really gaining control of your natural. Maru starts 1-1 a little bit earlier. Now that Q has regained control of his side of the map, he's going to go for his own 1-1 upgrades behind it. Unfortunately, an SCV does get trapped behind. But, oh, he notices. Look at that. Look at that. Gone are the days of players just not having the mental bandwidth to fix little mistakes. I remember we used to watch games back in the day. They'd trap 2 SCVs here behind the 2 engineering bays and would just be there for the rest of the game. And you'd actually see the player put them on patrol so that they wouldn't show up as an idle worker anymore and just accept. I'm never going to take the time to send a medevac over there. Understandable if you're playing mech and you don't have any medevacs, but playing bio, it is nice to see. The other day, someone asked me in my Twitch chat, they said, why don't players repair their units? And I was like, they do all the time. Back in the day, pro players used to not repair, but these days they repair all the time. Maru's looking kind of ready for this. He's got a turret and a tank, which will inflict a lot of damage. It won't defend it on its own. But with the libs, the Vikings that can rotate, this is going to be a really, really committed maneuver. Q needs to find damage. That siege tank down there is really going to help. Maru's pretty quick to respond. His Marines do stim over. The Viking helping out against the medevac. That turret does so much damage, man. That turret killing 3 of the medevacs. These tanks moving forward. Q with a good scan, though, takes down one of them. The Liberator will remove things. I mean, you get some worker kills. Sometimes the worker kills make this sort of move worth it. But the 2 libs will take out the siege tanks. Even though the Marines kill one of the libs, the Vikings now clean up the rest. There's another attack ready on the front, but it's only a handful of Marines in a tank. He's trying to wait outside his sensor tower vision so he doesn't give warning to Maru. But Maru, of course, is trading 600 resources better. Q is still down 12 workers, even after that. You can see a bit of desperation in Q's play. His armory goes down. I think the armory already finished and is indeed going vehicle weapons for Maru. I don't think Q is so far behind he can't get back in this, though. He did get some economic damage there. How many tanks did he kill? 3 for 3. So he's lost 5 more workers. His third was delayed. They've both lost all their Ravens. I mean, this seems not too terrible. I thought that push was gonna do even more, and just... I think it's one of these things at this level. Q is just so good at staying calm under pressure. I always feel like that's Q's superpower. It's calm in the face of severe circumstances. Oh, Marine drop goes into the main. It's a one-way trip with those missile turrets. Those missile turrets don't stop drops, but they punish drops. They force it to be much more committed. The Vikings and SCVs will defend. Looks like a total of 6 SCVs going down. Q tries to move in the left at the same time. Maru quickly responds. It feels like Maru's entering that stage of the game where he often feels unbeatable. That being said, Maru, I think, lost his aura of invincibility. Was it a year and a half, 2 years ago, when Maru had a kind of a streak where people were going, oh, he's inactive, he's not that good anymore, his shoulder injury's playing up, he's over the hill, he's just showing up to collect paychecks with no practice, seeing if he can still win prize money without actually caring. There was a period where he lost a lot of series to all manner of Terrans, and I think since then, I kind of believe Kua has an actual chance. It's still Maru. I still think the longer the game goes, the more Maru is better at outplaying people in late game and finding win conditions, even if he falls behind. Kua, though, bullying him a little bit. Catches a medevac and a bunch of Marines. Very nice trade. Liberator's going to go down the left side. No turrets. You can see Kua's had a more aggressive stance. The problem in TBT is when you lean aggressive, even small counterattacks can often find large amounts of damage, but Kua's there with his rally point, and he's only going to lose one SCV, one Marine, and in fact, that might make him realize he wasn't fully saturated on this gas, but no. He's a bit worried about the army getting on top of him. He got scanned. Whenever an opponent scans you in high-level TBT, you're very aware of the fact they know where you are. You might not know where their army is, and there's a paranoia that he might jump on me right now. This is crazy. These tanks are so exposed. That's a free pick off for Maru. Maru's Marines are right there. Those tanks are in the open. They need to get out of there. He's got tanks to fall back on, though. And a quick response for Kua. Ends up baiting a stim out of Maru's army. Maru doesn't have many medevacs. That's actually quite valuable. An extra turret is in the main and a siege tank. You do not want to drop there. But the third base is not a terrible angle. And actually, he avoids the turret. Wow, Doom Drop style for Kua. I was not expecting this today. His siege tank does target the tank that was sieged up, but the double lib siege is really nice. Marines maybe? Going to be able to cancel the armory, perhaps? No, going to have to just fight the units here. But the Marines, the libs, the tanks do clean it up. And of course, trying to fly out, realizing there's two turrets there. That's not the way to go. Turns in the other direction. And Maru's taking economic... I don't know. It's like he's skinning his shins, you know? He's getting tiny bits of damage as Kua. Nothing that's really seriously impacting Maru's build-up. It's just slowing down Maru from throwing down extra command centers. Now, Kua's also got a fourth base up, but it's a little bit later. He is up 5 workers. And notice he's still playing Marine Tank Medevac on Tourmaline, a small map where long term you have to go for air superiority on this map. The really big maps, your old Republics, I think the Mass Marine Tank style, the Doom Drop style, the Beyond, and Gumiho sometimes favors this as well style. It's very good. And I do like it because it creates asymmetry. But notice there's only 2 medevacs for Maru. He's actually going to be controlling the skies with a handful of Vikings, using libs to get value and trying to slow things down. He's kind of playing mech plus Marine counterattacks, whilst Kua is playing a YOLO Marine tank style. Look at that double lib siege. So quick with the response. At the same time, though, Kua's going to slide in the back door with a big Doom Drop. That tank sieged up, though. I think one tank may have died inside. The Marines only managed to kill one of the Liberators, and look at their counterattack. Maru senses that Kua is in such an aggressive stance in this game, and he says, I know you're going to overcommit. So he sends a massive Marine counterattack, locks everything down at home, and does find a third command center. Only 5 SCVs somehow, and actually really good rally defense in the main. Beautiful. With the tank sieged up, getting massive kills there. One more shot. Does take out most of the Marines, and the rally should deal the rest of it. Very well done. The tank with 15 kills. Those Marines just didn't quite get within the minimum firing range, and this Liberator's going to have to move forward to clear this up. So you know what? Another 18 workers goes down. Kua still trading worse, though. Remember, he's losing so many medevacs in these fights, and this is something we often forget, is the Marine tank medevac style usually is meant to have economic momentum, and yet it was Maru who's been expanding at a faster rate all game long. So Kua, if he had a 5th and a 6th base mining, lots of orbitals, dropping mules, maybe a few more barracks as well, I'd believe. But the fact that he's down in supply against the more defensive style, and not only that, it's the style which is building Ravens out of 2 Tech Lab starports, which are, of course, the ultimate endgame unit. They aren't high tempo, but they are extremely efficient in a long enough game. Push through the middle. Oh, nice. Spready on the Marines. Takes out 1 tank for a few Marines. Sieges and starts rotating around. Of course, 7 siege tanks to 13, almost double for Maru. And he doesn't have to leave them all anywhere. Just 2 on the right, 2 in the middle, 3 on the left. And he can rotate the rest of his units around as need be. Great catch for Kua, though. He's going to drop across this, get a few SCVs and tanks. And that is really, really valuable. What did that cost? It was 4 Marines. Sensor tower, 4 SCVs, 2 siege tanks. Still distracting on the right as well. And you can see he really wants to push the left. And he might have opened up an angle. If he picks up and drops on these tanks, they don't have a lot covering them. The planetary will help. Vehicle armor's on the way now for MARU as well. Both sides have equal 3-3 upgrades with +2 on the vehicles. Oh, bad push for Kua. Look at this. Beautiful matrixes. MARU's whole army rotates in time, and that is a gift-wrapped engagement for MARU. Kua should have scanned ahead and seen the reinforcements coming and backed out of that. It was a bit of a clumsy attempt for Kua, who's now floated his main to the right side. You can see he's looking very desperate to find damage, and MARU's machine is just bigger than his now. He's got a pack of Ravens for Matrix, which means your tanks are nearly worthless. And even interference matrixing and medevac so that it cancels the boost. Will that allow him to chase this army down? MARU senses blood in the water. He wants to force the engagement now. He's going to do the old 3 versus 1 trick, guys. If you siege 3 tanks in the range of 1 enemy tank, it'll only get 2 shots off before you complete your siege and 1-shot it. It's one of the classic pieces of TVT knowledge that you need to learn to break your opponent's situation. If you only siege on the edge of their line in range of 1 tank, with 3 of yours, you can blast it down. And what a nice, clean little bit of organization. MARU doing that in the midst of a finishing blow. Very, very solid game 1 for MARU. I like that Kua played a bit more of a dynamic style. I'm not sure if Tourmaline was the map for it. He might have just felt he was a little behind and he needed to commit more aggressive, but MARU holds firm. All right, well, hopefully that doesn't dampen Kua's spirits too much. That's just MARU doing MARU things. And I think hats off to MARU because he was so patient. And I think MARU's better at this than any other player. And not just being patient, but it is specifically adapting, recognizing what his opponent's mindset is in a series and adapting his play to it. So I think in that series, he quickly clued on to the fact that Kua, who's now in the bottom right of Ruby Rock, MARU's in the top left as he goes out for a proxy. Oh, hello. I think he just realized he's playing aggro, and he's going to keep playing aggro. Like, at the start, Kua was defensive, right? MARU was a bit more aggressive. Didn't overcommit too much, though, did he? It was pretty even. And then once Kua started attacking, MARU just always had turrets, even added second turrets. Always had a tank in the main, tank in the natural. Lots of insurance. And I think that really helps you out in games like that. It's going to be Barracks Gas into second Barracks Proxy on the map for MARU. So a 2-Rax Reaper most likely. Pretty rare we see, 2-Rax Marauder or anything like that in this matchup. I love playing single Proxy Barracks Marauder in this matchup. But it is a massive gamble that I don't think scales well to the level of pro play. Pro players don't get thrown off as much by a couple of Marauders arriving to annoy and distract you. Kind of a mind game that works, I guess, against a lot of the lower GM players, the mid GM players, because they're not used to it and they think Marauders means all in. Overreact a little bit. You can catch them off with Hellion drops or Banshees or anything, or the Cyclone Harass that follows it up. But these are never all-ins, unless you go for, like, what is it, double 14 barracks outside the main base. The single proxy barracks, it's a good play, but it's just a pressure play. Often this barracks can, of course, get a full scout afterwards, so it's incredibly safe in the follow-up, but it may cop an economic disadvantage. You do aim to force your opponent's command center on the high ground, or if they build on the low ground with no scouting, which it looks like Q is going to do with this reactor first build. Actually, Q might go starport before command center here. This kind of looks like a Reaper Hellion medevac attack for Q. Could be Liberator first as well. Reactor first is actually really good against this. There's just this little window right now. There's like 8 seconds before Reapers pop out. And Maru's like, I don't want to get caught. So he doesn't risk it. And you get away with Reactor first. And now you've been producing at the same speed as your opponent. Maru's going to build a factory on the front. What in the world? Hellion to start? Or does he go straight tank? I mean, straight tank is a massive noob killer build. Pros never proxy a tank. I love proxying a tank. I just don't think Maru's that unhinged. I think he just builds some Hellions out of it and rallies them in faster. It is indeed a Hellion and a proxy starport. Hello. Command center on the natural for Cure. I mean, he's pumping Reaper Hellion, so he might be able to hold this off because, like, effectively he has the same production. I mean, look at the unit count, guys. Yes. Like, Cure actually has a better army right now. And you can think, like, I guess, okay, he's swapped to Marines, though. He's only built 4 Reapers. Ooh, and he's moving across the map now. So it's 4 Reapers, 2 Hellions. In comes 5 Reapers, 1 Hellion for Maru. They're definitely going to kill the SCV. Do they risk jumping to the high ground? If they do, they'll find great value. Oh, he's just going to stop to kill the command center. Hellions can't get in, but the Reapers can. Nothing at home here for Maru. This game is about to go to hell in a handbasket. Whoa, the SCVs quickly surround. Q not watching. I mean, his Reapers are doing a lot of damage anyway. He's trying to protect his Marines at home, of course. Back on the other side, he does lose all of his Reapers. Q, not like this, buddy. Oh, that's my move. He does the pig special. That's the, oh my gosh. I'm allowed to get away with that one. I can just complain and blame lag because I live in Australia, but Q panicking under pressure and the Hellions can't get past the wall. If the Reapers jump in and out, even if he microed his Reapers back to the corner, the Hellions would have killed all of the SCVs. He didn't even need to jump down the ledge. He could have just microed back to the ledge repeatedly. But he takes catastrophic damage losing the Reapers. Loses 11 SCVs. Maru's trying to defend with Marines and will eventually be able to deal with these Hellions. Looks like his Reapers come back and deal with them. Kua takes out 1 more SCV before the end of that. Now, Kua's command center did get delayed, but of course Maru doesn't even have a command center, guys. He is completely all in, which is actually probably the best case scenario for him. Well, no, it's not. No. It would be way better if he could go economic, but he's actually he is building tanks and Vikings from the proxy. It's a complete all in. And Kua is now swapping to reacted Viking. He knows if he can win the Viking battle, that'll help, and he's going to use the barracks to spot because he can't scan constantly. But he needs to make sure his tank can see what's going on out here. Probably worth locking on for Maru. The quicker he gets rid of this barracks, the sooner he starts forcing Kua to use scans to stop you sieging up in range. Barracks coming over here. Tank comes forward. Got to be careful with these tanks. Ooh, that tank. He's trying to build a Marine there on the front. It's going to go down, though. Siege tank does pretty big damage to it. Does one SCV out-repair a siege tank, guys? Out 2 SCVs apparently does. Maru's going to rotate to the left, I think. He probably wants to get rid of the starport. Because he knows if he loses control of the skies, it's kind of screwed. And that's already happening. Now, Q is here. 3 Vikings against just 2 of Maru's. Yes, a few SCVs go down. These Marines got to be careful. They're going out a bit too far. Maru's sacrificing Reapers right now, and he's actually transitioning economy. So he gets 6 SCVs. This was meant to be an all-in, but Maru recognizes how much economic damage he's already done. He just plops the command center down at home and says, yeah, let's not force it. Let's just chill. Let's take my time. Kill 6 more SCVs. Now I'm up 12. And I would not mind a 3rd command center for Maru. I feel like a 3rd command center would be perfectly fine. He's actually building a 2nd starport, which is an interesting play. Might go for a quick 4th gas as well. Float this back. And maybe go for the old double starport tank push later on. Problem is, your factory's on the wrong side of the map. This is why this is such a weird move. Because Maru doesn't have the gas to support even the production that he's already got, let alone a starport at home. He's just kind of preparing for this starport and factory having to float away at some point. I feel like 3rd command center was a better play for Maru, but we'll see what timing he manages to stitch together here. There's no such thing as a clean, efficient, perfectly planned timing in a game like this. That is for sure. Kua, he's down 8 workers, but he's got his command center mining with 2 mules, and you know, Maru's orbital's only now finishing. If Maru had gone 3rd command center, I'd kind of believe in his long-term game plan being unstoppable. As it is, Kua's got a fantastic air army, and it's really just going to come down to a battle for the skies. It's just going to be a big Viking battle to decide this game. Maru's up a tank, so if he can catch up on the Vikings, I think it's great. If he can't catch up on the Vikings, he could be in a really bad spot. Extra gas in 2nd starport goes down. Kua recognizes the game they are in. It's a Viking arms race. Both players scanning each other. Of course, he does see a reacted starport pumping units. I think Maru should have enough time to overtake him. Wait. Is Maru building a 3rd starport? 3 starport. Maru, you mad lad. 11 worker advantage for Maru. He keeps scanning. He's looking for an opening. He's like, what are you doing? He's going to be a bit careful, though. He's down in Vikings. Now is not the time to fight. Oh, but it's a good time to catch Vikings popping out. If he hadn't landed right there, that would be good. You know what's even better? Apparently, picking off their starport. Problem, he can't lift off to leave. Oh, God, is this a misplay? But, he can't get back up his ramp. Ramp control's big for Maru right now. Oh, no, he doesn't actually have ramp control. Never mind. But yeah, he's got to be really careful because his Vikings are trapped right now with these Vikings hovering over them. And now the Lib comes in to distract. Oh, great move by MARU. He pulls them over there. The Vikings left off. The Cyclone is helping out right now. But it's still a good fight for Cure, it looks like. Oh, I'm not quite sure. That Cyclone adding some really significant damage. I gotta check the units last up. 6 Vikings went down for Cure, 5 for MARU. MARU makes the best of an awkward situation. And I think with forcing that starport off the reactor, killing the reactor, that should be a very good move. This tank forgot to siege up. Cure with a slight mistake there. The Vikings do win the air battle by forcing the enemy Vikings to land. But of course, that means MARU can bust through that front siege tank. These tanks for Cure need to get sieged up on the natural. The barracks on the reactor is being isolated. 2 more starports trying to build for Cure. He's just not quite there. 1 in the back of the main, 1 in the back of the natural. And MARU realizing air war is the way to make it happen. Takes control of the enemy natural, plops a 3rd down on location. No engineering bays, no extra barracks, no armories, no second factory. MARU, the king of recognizing the win condition and then just going all in on that thing when he needs to. That's why we love MARU, the king of late game, who's also the king of just finding ways to win. Probably why he does struggle a little bit more against the top Zergs. They're so good at giving up bases and using creep and falling back and rotating around. It's hard to force them into a win condition. It's always multiple steps to get a Rainer or a Serral or a Rogue out of the game. It's never as easy as just get a killing tank position like this and force them into you. The Viking land is excellent. Beautiful, beautiful Viking land to stop those SCVs. The tanks smashing through all of Cure's units. And even if Cure clears this army, he'd be dead. But he can't even clear the army. The container's still there. Cure has to tap out. MARU steams ahead to a 2-0 lead. Well, MARU is in the driver's seat. He's feeling confident. He's looking good. And what an excellent way to play that last game. I love that he planned to do that Tech Lab factory. As he was always planning to do a Reaper Hellion attack into a tank Viking kind of one basey all in. But Cure's got to be kicking himself. What an unfortunate error that was, not bringing his Reapers back. It looked like he panicked a little bit more when the escalation happened in that game. Didn't pull his Reapers back to the cover of the Hellions. When those SCVs clump up, even if you don't micro your Reapers perfectly, just a little bit of stutter step or getting in range of the Hellions means MARU loses so many SCVs. To sacrifice 4 Reapers for, I think it was 5 SCVs they got, because they weren't focus fired or anything, and they died so quickly. I mean, that's just tragic. And Q has had enough. He's like, screw this. I'm going to do double 15 barracks. It's not double 14. It's 15 barracks, 15 gas, 15 second barracks. It's going to be a double proxy Reaper build. And I think sometimes players say, why would you gamble? You've only got 1 life left. This would be such an embarrassing way to lose. But I think high-level players like Q who've been in this situation many times realize you can't play scared when you're behind. You're behind, you've got nothing to lose. You are supposed to lose this series from here. Gambling is where it's at. And if you think it's a good gamble, go for it. It doesn't mean just take random, unhinged gambles that don't make sense. But if you were planning this build for this map, you think it adds up, you think it makes sense against MARU's playstyle, then hell, why not? And MARU this time is the one going for the greedy no scout reactor first build. If you scout with your SCV, see he's gone reactor, and send your first Reaper in immediately, you win this game. Problem, Cure doesn't want to reveal the proxy, so he does an SCV scout. MARU made this exact same mistake against Oliveira in the World Championship Finals at Katowice 2023, and he regretted it ever since. He talked about it in an interview after. He said, normally I send the SCV in, otherwise you got to hold back the Reapers. You know, against the normal build, you don't want to show it. You want to wait for like 2 or 3 Reapers. But if you do that against Reactor first, you let their Reapers come out. And I think it was with Crank or TY or someone he was talking to MARU about this, and one of those very candid interviews he did after that huge, huge upset loss to Oliveira. Here we go, goes with 2. Still a while till these Reapers pop out. But, oh, he denies the factory. Factory needs to finish. MARU sends another SCV. MARU pulling 6 SCVs. Probably needs to pull more than that if he really wants to intimidate Cure. Oh, I like that he tries to repair the SCVs there to buy a bit of time. It's a cute thing there, but of course the grenade would have bounced them away and stopped the repair. 3 Reapers versus 2. MARU's going to lose one! MARU, with a bit of a mistake there, losing one of his first 2 Reapers. The Hellion's almost out, though. You can see these Reapers pulling back to the ledge. They do jump down, playing it safe. 7 workers and a Reaper kill. Hasn't lost anything yet. Cure, he's in the driver's seat. He might be able to just catapult over MARU here and get a point on the board. And that'd be a really good and much needed confidence boost for the player who's down 0-2. Winning 3 games in a row against MARU seems like an impossible feat. But if you can snatch a quick victory here in 3 or 4 minutes, that would really be a massive boon to your spirits. The SCVs all get pulled. They force him away. MARU does slay 2 of those Reapers, but he loses so many workers. He doesn't have a command center down. He's on 14 worker losses. There's 23 workers for Cure. Cure doesn't have a command center, but look, he's building a bunker. He's realizing, like, well, I mean, dude, the only way I lose, like, after killing that many is probably if I die to a counterattack. I can delay my command center, build a bunker, and now make a command center with 400 minerals. And I'm in an excellent spot. Floats a barracks to scout, builds that command center, and yeah. Oh, whoa, he leaves a Reaper out. That's a little bit sloppy, but the grenade does at least force the aliens away momentarily. Might be able to extricate the Reaper to safety. Reactor first does end up getting punished despite no SCV scout. Interesting to see. Hellion Reaper going to be unhappy to see that bunker. Bunker was a wise choice. Probably could have built it after the command center and been just fine. But always good to see a player hedging when they're ahead, adding that little bit of safety. Not a bad idea, especially in an odd and unfamiliar situation like this. Oh, he's going to float the barracks. Please build a Marine. Yes! Yeah, and he's going to build a Marine and target the ready point SCV, guys. One of my favorite moves in TVT, you guys would have seen me do this many times over the years, is I normally like to hide it in the corner, build 3 Marines, and then shift-click them in to go get behind the minerals and gas and kill some SCVs. It's not about being hyper-efficient. It's about sending a message. And oh, MARU pulls the SCV back to pocket, but he gets one on gas anyway. He gets one on gas anyway. It's always about the psychological damage, and MARU respects it. He's like, well, I know I was pretty dead, but if you're building Marines in my base and picking off Reddit point SCVs, yeah, okay, I'll get out of here. You are at double my work account. Fine. All right, well, we're going to go on to game 4 now. He's got a point on the board, which has got to feel a little bit better for Cure. It's Old Republic, though, a gigantic map. Liquid Cure down there, MARU in the top right. If there was ever a map to play that mass Marine tank style he was playing in game 1, Old Republic. Pretty good map for it. Lots of wide open spaces. Areas to doom drop and zoom in the back. Now, Cure has a camera location down here already, guys. We just saw his screen go there. You see these blue and red boxes we have on the minimap? They kind of show you where where the players are looking at each moment. So, kind of interesting. You'll see them often go boop, 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 boop. And when it jumps very particularly between the bases, that usually is them cycling through their camera locations, like. But I guess Cure might just set up like all 8 bases or something like that. I only set up my first 5 normally and my rally point. Oh, 2 barracks again. Okay. MARU believing in the 2 rack. Served him well on Ruby Rock. Why not? Go for it again. Was this gas first, guys? No, this just looks like a barracks gas. So pretty conservative expansion for Cure with an SCV scout. Cure used to be one of the guys when nobody SCV scouted in this matchup. And I remember someone was teaching me TVT at the time. And I was like, man, my TVT is kind of sloppy. I gotta learn fundamentals. Like, someone teach me this. And they were telling me SCV scout's really bad because it slows everything down. And then I remember watching Cure, and he was kind of the one pro Terran who would regularly SCV scout. But you can see here, MARU's going to do it as well. MARU SCV scouting with a 2 barracks build. Going to be a nice prime target, this command center here to punish. Of course, Cure will not be able to get in. He'll probably be thinking this is a barracks factory. Could be. Could be Reaper Hellion coming across the map. Could be 3 Reapers. Of course, it'll be 3 Reapers. Cure's going to build Marines. Now, if you build Marines, but you don't build a factory. Sorry, you don't build a bunker. Those Marines can still get overrun. It's always scary because do you cover the ledge with the immobile Marines or do you go elsewhere? Oh, Cure ambushes him. MARU wasn't watching, but the SCV turns the tables. Cure has to back away. Got a bit too fancy there. Marine comes forward, though. Every shot on the Marine does stack up. I think MARU knows about the command center from before. Now he sees the Marine. to get in here before this bunker is finished. 2 Reapers and an SCV could do quite well. You might want to pull these SCVs off the bunker in the command center to fight. Oh, good grenade. Look at that. The way he zoned the fighting units. Very well played. Kua goes forward, gets one of the Reapers though. MARU stays a bit too long, strays too close to the sun. And the bunker's up. Just a single Marine inside for now. He's going to go guard the ledge, expecting that rotation. If Kua's watching... Oh, MARU going to the high ground. Way too greedy. Loses another Reaper. Costly. But MARU's got a command center almost finished on his natural. 3rd one building in the main. So, excuse me. Even though he's lost a few Reapers, traded the SCVs evenly. So he's definitely behind in this game, but it's not too far economically. Starport timing is the other big thing, because it's not just SCVs and command center count, it's also Ravens. Like, how far along are your Ravens? And, oh my. In that case, MARU is very far behind. Incredibly far behind. Because his factory's not even done. Raven production's already starting. So Kua's not only got a faster command center, he's also going to have much faster Ravens. Oh, he goes for a Banshee, though. Okay. So at least that... Oh, speed Banshees! He's going to play mech, potentially. I think he will probably play mech. We see Magfield Cyclones. I mean, he needs a bit more gas for that. Speed Banshees and Magfield Cyclones. Really awesome way of getting map control in this matchup. Bad on small maps because their tank pushes get to you too quickly. But on a big map like this, you got a lot of room to pick at them with Cyclone Banshee. It could just be for harassment. You could still play standard bio afterwards as well. Hasn't committed just yet. 3rd command center goes down. It's already finished for MARU. As we said, Kua's earlier natural expand on location has been dropping mules and building SCVs a bit longer. And Stim does start. So it's just going to be a few harassment Banshees with speed instead of cloak. Cool idea. I mean, it costs the same as cloak. It's 100. Takes, 80 seconds to upgrade. 79 technically. Totally fine. 2 more barracks go down. Where's the double engineering bay? I guess that happens next. Meanwhile, MARU has already had 2 barracks for a while. Builds his 3rd one now. He'll be going for Ravens, whilst Kua with the Banshees is probably going to bypass Ravens entirely. That to me says he wants to play Marine Tank. Marine Tank Medevac, right? Look, he's not building tanks at all. He's gonna go straight to Marines on 3 barracks. He's gonna put the factory on the tech lab now to start tanks. Starport will swap over to build a reactor. Reaper's gonna jump in. It's only in the Reaper there. Does he sacrifice for vision? Sees the 3rd command center, sees the reactor building on the starport. Doesn't tell you too much as MARU. He might have already built 2 Ravens, right? These could easily be Ravens instead of Banshees. Now, in terms of anti-air, MARU's got 1 Cyclone and a few Marines. That Cyclone will have to get up in the main to defend these Banshees. And they're so fast, they might be able to escape even after getting locked onto. Dude, how pretty is this map? Beautiful, isn't it? I love some of the scenery on the edges of this map. Alright, Banshee's going to the main base. He scans to make sure there's no anti-air nearby. Doesn't want to just throw these away. Already 6 SCVs going down, and every bit of Raven energy is actually really valuable. Look at that. Oh, he's trying to avoid the Cyclones. Oh, the Cyclone kind of got blocked by some of his units there, and even if he gets a lock, which he doesn't, the Banshees were going to escape either way. Great damage. 8 SCVs. Big mining time. Keeps the Banshees alive, and now we've got 1-1 shields, tanks, Marines, medevacs moving forward. Kua's in a really good spot in this game, guys. Ooh, gets a few SCVs on the 3rd as well, and yeah, he's using a few scans to make sure he keeps track of the Cyclone, but MARU, you gotta split your army, right? Cyclone in the main, Marines on the 3rd. A little bit slow to make that split the way he should have. And I think now he's worried about a frontal push. He scans, he sees no army at home, and he panics a little bit. Cyclone and Viking Raven. He actually interference matrixes the Banshee, but you know, all that does is stop it from attacking. It's never going to cloak in the first place. Command Center has to lift off 16 workers in total. Of course, that's from all of those flybys combined. A massive amount of damage, and Kua going for armory. He's got 4th and 5th barracks. His 3rd's mining. Every second he delays this is excellent. And he could rotate around. You know, he can drop in the natural, he can drop in the main. MARU's so desperate to defend his 3rd. If there's another medevac that reinforces into the natural, could find some real damage. Ooh, I like the pullback for Kua. MARU stims a few Marines, but look at that. He picks up the tank and boosts it away a little bit. And if you chase too far, like, this army of Kua is actually stronger than MARU's. Kua can turn and fight this. Kua right now running away. Maru chasing him with the determination of a man who thinks he can win this fight. He cannot. Maru gets a crazy amount of value there in a situation where he had the weaker army. And that's the sort of decisiveness that can intimidate. I always talk about this, where sometimes when you run at your opponent, just screaming at them naked, yelling, waving your arms around, they get scared and run away. They're like, I mean, he must know something I don't know. Why is there a guy with no pants on chasing me right now? Like, I don't want to mess with that guy. Like, even if you could be a professional fighter, you could be trained, you could have been through multiple wars. You could have been the guy who's, I don't know, been in a friggin' bayonet charge, you know, in a real combat. Like, what the hell? You'd still run away. You're like, this guy must know something I don't. Uh-oh. Marines are going to pull back there. Vikings very well placed. Maru's just got to lock things down, drag this out a little bit. See, the upgrades are a bit ahead for Kua. It's about a 35-second advantage. Second factory going down in the tech lab in the main. Maru's done the exact same thing. Once you make stim and shields in TVT, you don't ever really want Marauders, so you normally swap that barracks off. Funnily enough, Maru has another barracks on a tech lab. That should have been a reactor. Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe a misclick. Maybe a little misclick there. Ultra late game Ghosts are actually a good unit in this matchup. Reason being EMPing Ravens. Very rare you see anyone with the resources or the mental bandwidth to actually add that to a late game comp. Once people have stacks of 10-15 Ravens flying around, EMP becomes pretty amazing. Maru doing a good job of creating a little bit of control of the space near his base. You can see Kua still building medevacs, Marines, tanks. Now, the problem with this style, guys, is any fight that doesn't go really well for you as Kua, these guys up here, the Vikings, are going to shoot down all of your medevacs. So there's always any fight that, you know, is just kind of mid. Well, not great for you as the Mass Marine player. Usually you want to be expanding on location and expanding faster than your opponent to have a bit more economy so you can throw away units here and there. You're kind of zerging them. Mass Marine, very mobile. You can see, look at the massive Marine advantage, right? You don't want to just take mid-fights, and ideally you get around him and you boost into the main. But look at this, Maru's got sensor towers, turrets, Vikings on the edges. He's got all these things prepared. He knows the style Q is playing. He shut it down on Tourmaline. Can he shut it down here on Old Republic? Q coming in right now. A massive spreading of units. 2-2 just kicked in for him. It is not kicked in yet for Maru. A brilliant timing for Q, incredibly decisive. And he does break the tank line. The command centers have to lift off. Beautiful engagement timing. Wow, he just trusted in that moment so well. I do think a few of Maru's siege tank shots maybe could have landed a bit better in the center of those damaged Marines. As when they start forward like that, they clump up an awful lot. Tanks plus Marines coming forward. He's going to break the next two siege tanks as well. Kua gets a massive trade. Maru's upgrades have now finished. It's all about timing, and Kua finds that window. He finds it so very well. Clearance Matrix is going down. Tank's getting locked down. Marine tank for Kua. He's going to come forward. He's going to tie this series right up. Wow. I thought Kua might crumble under pressure, but I think this is a pattern we're seeing more and more in modern StarCraft as players have been in so many bad situations. They're done panicking and buckling under the pressure. They're actually kind of stepping up to meet the challenge more and more. And Kua bringing this to a Game 5, this is already a really impressive performance from Kua in my mind. Well, it's all going to be decided here on Winter Madness. Kua in the bottom right side for Team Liquid. Maru in the top left. And it's a medium-sized map, very balanced map. Any style could be played here. Some decent ledges, some decent choke points, but enough room to rotate around with Marine heavier armies as well. Knowing TVT, I would not be surprised if this ends in that 6 to 8 minute mark with the first big kind of tank Raven clash. It's a matchup which sometimes delivers epic games, but often after a series of back and forth games, you do see someone just wipe the other one out in one swift move. And Maru's going to go for proxy second barracks again. Okay. Same build as Ruby Rock. Get the 2 barracks aggression going. Kua is going to play double gas. Double gas, 1 base opening. Quick factory will come out of that. I think you normally take your second gas about 18, right? I think it's about 18 so far. Let me study this build for Maru. Pulls his workers onto gas perfectly. Minimal waiting time there. Just doesn't want to waste a single mineral, but he still wants to get his gas mining straight away. And 17. So it was about 17 supply. Very soon after hitting 17 supply with this SCV in production does he queue the gas up. Gore's first Reaper's going to be starting momentarily, so he's got 50 gas just in time for that. And then the second barracks should finish, and normally you get 50 gas for that one. It's like, what, 1 second after the barracks finishes, normally, I think? It's pretty tight. That's always nice if you can line it up near perfectly, and indeed he does. Oh, he doesn't start at that second Reaper, though. He's distracted over here. Got distracted. You see, Q is blocking him, and Maru wants to pretend that he's trying to expand there. And now he's pretending he's going to go to the high ground and build a command center there. Or like he's already built it. He wants Q to think there's a command center building. And he's like, okay, you blocked my 1-max expand. Now I'm going to go build it here. But he walls him off because he knows if he comes in and sees no command center, then he'll know about the barracks on the map. Q is going to hide the SCV. Might actually go and find Maru's second barracks on the way home. Of course, just sending it straight home will be easy to intercept for Maru. Q has got a factory. He's building Reaper Alley and he's scouting to the left. He has no idea what's happening. 2 Reapers for Maru. Only 1 here for Q. You can see Q cannot be losing his Reaper against this. If you lose an early unit, the double barracks production will overwhelm you. You find more and more damage. 2 Reapers and 3 SCVs. Great defense so far. Q does not overcommit. He knows what's happening. Commands are on the high ground. And he hides his SCV on the map. I'd be tempted to build a starport up here just because the SCV is still on the map. But Q, wiser than me, is going to try and see when that command center goes down. Oh, he's proxying the factory again. Oh, Maru's doing the exact same build as on Ruby Rock. Dude, Maru and Beyond, I swear, are two peas cut from the same pod. They really do love it. It's just sometimes they just love doing certain builds over and over. I mean, I wouldn't expect it, but Q, he's like, bro, what's going on here? Still no add-on, no command center. Yes, the command center could just be on the high ground. Don't get me wrong. It absolutely could. But he's just like, he might start to sniff something. He might. Doesn't matter if he loses the first Reaper Hellion fight. He'll still just die to this, but it's going to be those early tanks railing in. Like I said, I love proxy tank builds. They're such noob killers. You rarely see it at pro level. Whoa! Maru's diving! Crazy Maru! Crazy person! And that is what the result of that attack is. Did he even get one? He didn't even get one. He just lost 4 Reapers. Maru sticks his hand in the meat grinder and he very quickly finds out what happens. Oh my lord. I mean, I get it. You've got so many Reapers. Maybe we'll catch him off guard, but Cure defensively responsible, the perfect distance back from the ledge to just get maximum damage off without giving Maru a chance to pull back without losing a ton of units anyway. Now, Kua shouldn't be down here anymore, right? Even though he killed a lot of units, I guess he wants to catch the Cyclone. But look at that, gets another unit there. Maru does get a Reaper there with the medevac, but he's got to rebuild the tech lab, and Kua, he's just like, yeah, man, I got 2 command centers. I'm chilling. I can build a second barracks. I can drop mules, float to the natural. You don't want to lose all these units, but I think he just realizes there's almost nothing at home, and he sees the commands and it kills the SCV on it. The 3 Reapers are going to absolutely wreak havoc, and this time these Reapers will pull back to the Hellions. No doubt if they get in trouble, the SCVs cannot chase that far. And does he just try to target down as many SCVs as he can? Yeah, finishes the command center SCV again. Maru trying to use his medevac to pick up weak SCVs. Actually saved 2 SCVs there, 1 with medevac healing, 1 popping into the gas, and 1 inside the medevac. Only 3 workers go down. Good hold for Maru, but Maru, of course, is in an incredibly compromised position, drops the 3rd command center. And he knows it's a long road to recovery when your only factory and starport are out here on the right side of the map. A lot of people often think in StarCraft, and this is what I say, like the fundamentals sometimes of people are a little bit confusing, where they go, if they proxy me, I need to get an expansion up. And I'm like, or you can just beat their army and then kill all their production on the map, which is also going to get you massively ahead. You don't even need to have more stuff. Oh, the tank pops out. Does kill the Cyclone, but it goes down. And I think you'd much rather lose a Cyclone rather than lose a tank. Q happy with that trade as he goes 4 gas. I'd love to see a second starport for Q when he can afford it. But I just feel like a Marine tank Viking push is going to be nigh unstoppable. The factory's going to go down. It's burning. The Viking pops out, takes out 1 of Q's Vikings, but it falls as well. The factory burns down. The starport's going to go down. And what in the world are you going to do as Maru? You've already started a new starport at home. You're making stim. You're making Marines. Is he going to try and play factoryless here? He's like, well, I've already got my starport going. Maybe I don't need a factory. I don't know, man. Playing TVT without tanks is wild. But MARU recognizes that he is in a bad spot. And actually, he cancels the starport and builds a factory. I disagree with that, but do I really? I don't know, man. I feel like he probably should have just let it finish. It was so far along. Why waste the money? But on the other hand, he doesn't have many Marines to heal with a medevac. So what's he going to do? Build one medevac, you know, for 6 Marines? He's trying to go double upgrade 3cc. Cure is not giving him the time to do that. If MARU had another 2 minutes of freedom, I think he'd get back in this game. But Cure knows now is not the time to hesitate. He's got the advantage. MARU's been getting way too aggressive and now is trying to recover with greed. And Cure, I didn't even have time to set up the story. It's because I didn't believe it was going to happen. He reversals MARU and wins 3 games in a row from down 0-2 with a mixture of his own aggression, stopping MARU's aggression, and just very swift, brutal counterattacks. Excellent play by Cure. He really looked to be on MARU's level. This looked like a perfectly even and balanced match. Just lovely play from both players. But Cure is the one who's going to be going to the GSL Finals. GG, well played. If you guys want to see that series, don't forget to tune in tomorrow. We'll be casting that one. The winner of Hero Rogue up against Cure. So we'll see you guys tomorrow for that video. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you next time. Goodbye and good night.